What's going on? I'm just gonna do a quick bike check since it's been about 3 months since I've owned this thing and had a lot of ups and downs with it. Um, but overall, not disappointed with the purchase. It's been fun. I love to tinker, so it doesn't bother me the least. Yeah, start off as you can see, it's stripped of fairings and it's repainted. Um, Nothing fancy. $5 worth of spray paint and some tape and a somewhat goofy looking paint job, but it ain't too bad. It looks better than it was. I don't mind it. I like pretty much everything except this front here. I may end up redoing that. I don't really like the stripes on it, but anyways, since then I have done a light porting on the head because I had to take that off to chase some threads on the spark plug that ended up stripping out after a few spark plug checks. Um, Ended up working out fine. I honed and smoothed out the casting marks in the intake charge pipe there, what do you want to call it. Oh, I got a new Chinese Mikuni. It's actually been a decent little carb for the price it was and for being a copy, and a new filter. Inside the carburetor itself, I had to get a new pilot jet, which I ended up using a 22 and a quarter or 22 and a half, excuse me. And I drilled out the main one, since I had a small drill set for that. It's probably about a 120 or so, maybe on a Mikuni scale. But it runs great. It's got plenty of fuel. It's not too lean. I don't think it's too rich anywhere. I may have to drill out the main jet a little more. I may play with that before I before I truly finish with the carburetor. Yeah, there's that. There's a 17 tooth sprocket on the inside. Originally it was 15, so it upped it from a 45 to 55 top end. First and second are really fun. Third, a little more boggy than it used to be, but I really go into third to really have fun, especially when I'm farting around in the dirt. This thing really doesn't like cruising in loose dirt at high speeds with small tires. But chain constantly gets loose. I can constantly tighten that thing. That's the only knack I don't like with the drive system on that, but everything else has been pretty solid on that. I added a tachometer and hour meter, mainly for the hour meter, so I can log my hours for oil changes. I don't like putting more than, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours depending on how hard I ride it. On the oil, just for what it is, I'd rather change it early and get rid of all the crap that breaks down inside the crankcase and gearbox combination thing, and put fresh in so it runs good. It's never got bad oil. I think it'll last a little longer. Hell, it only takes about a quart, a little over a quart, so 5-quart thing goes a long way. A little phone mount. So I tested in a previous video, which does not work for recording on a phone, but it looked pretty funny. And I think I tightened the rear spring a little bit so I don't squat as much, because when I sat on it I squatted. And I had an issue with this rear brake, which you can see. It grabs in a weird point. It grabs from, there it is, here to here, being the pad where the pad lies. Tried getting a whole new brake system for the size axle and everything that I thought was right. Did the same thing, but I needed new pads anyways. The old brake system, I had a new master cylinder and a whole new system, because the old one, master cylinder, was locking up and pretty much holding the brakes the whole time. It was really fucking annoying. Wore the brakes out in like 5 hours with riding. Really sucked, but this new system, as far as operation, has been great. I still just have the pad issue as far as where they lay, but I'm not really worried about that. I've got another disc. I figure when those pads finally wear out down the road, swap a new disc on it, put new pads on it. If it hits the same spot, oh well, it lasted 50 hours. What's the big deal? Modified the pedal a little bit. The pedal was tucked up underneath the crankcase. I had to bend it out and cut a little under the bottom so it would clear the pegs. The new master cylinder works really good. What else? I had to make a new motor mount, which all it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's a little dark out. You can probably see it. L brackets. There is 4 L brackets bolted together, and that has been stronger than the press fit brackets, or press mold, I should say, brackets, even after they snapped, and I had a good buddy of mine weld them. They still snapped again. Just weren't cutting it, so I did that, and that has lasted far more longer than those have. Also had to make a sort of bootleg looking exhaust holder, because this thing kept vibrating loose. The rear holder, as you can see, is completely modified and custom. Looks great, right? Yeah. That kept snapping, coming off, coming loose. There was rivets in there. I tried riveting it in 4 places instead of 2 where it originally was and it just broke the rivets. It got loose, flopped around, eventually fell off. So I don't do anything there. I just have it secured there, and I have it secured there. So hopefully that will do the job. It did it real good last time, but I don't think I tightened the clamp tight enough last time, and it fell off. But it lasted a whole lot longer than anything else I've done. What else? I think that's about it as far as any modifications. I got tanks held on kind of funky because this welded pinch portion snapped. No surprise, being Chinese. But other than that, it's been a great, cheap little bike. I think I got it for like $800 shipped. A little over than that because I had to get it extra shipping charge for being in residential, blah 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 blah, whatever. But I love it. I had to get a new clutch lever because I took a spill out in the dirt one day and that snapped. No big deal. $10, I think, replace that, no problem. You can see I'm going to do some carb tuning tomorrow with the notches. It's got a 1/4 turn throttle already. 1/4 turn and 3/8. I don't think there's much difference between them that for me to really care. To buy a new one and try and see if it's different, but I got the better spark plug. I think a little colder temperature so I can run it harder. That's pretty much that. I'm hoping to eventually get a big bore kit for it, make it a 143 instead of 125, but that's in the future. We'll run this thing till it doesn't want to run anymore, then maybe start fresh or upgrade. We'll see. But that's pretty much it. See if I can set the phone down over here, since I don't have any good recording devices. And I'm going to start the bike up. No, got the radio on. Let's see if we can't get this thing running. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Long bike check video. Yep, there goes the squirrel. Really, like I said, it runs great now. Once it's warmed up, idle's fine. Died earlier because it wasn't really fully warm. No big deal. Started up first kick, no problem. I've got no issues whatsoever with it. It's been a hell of a fun bike. I don't discourage nor encourage anybody to buy these. If you don't mind tinkering, then I don't see an issue with buying these type of bikes. But no, you will be doing a lot of custom fabrication and tinkering.